On today's show, we head across the United States and head to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in California, where world motorsport history across many disciplines comes together with the Rolex Monterey Motorsport Reunion. There's something for everyone: open-wheelers, sports cars, and even the legendary Trans Am cars. Then we wind back to 2009 and head west to Perth's Barbagallo Raceway, where we look back on the third round of the Australian Supertruck Nationals. There's plenty of action from the big rigs of the sport, as well as supports action from the best in the West. This is Speedweek.
Well, good morning to the Rolex Monterey Motorsports Reunion. Today is race day. This is the big one. My name's Kev Harris and I'll be running around the paddock catching up with some of the drivers and the great people that make this event exactly what it is. And I'm pleased to say in commentary we have Johnny Green waiting to go, but standing alongside me, race car driver and motorsport broadcaster, the legend that is Mr. Adam Andretti. Adam, great to see you, pal. We're the luckiest guys in town. It's race day and we're here and we're loving it.
Thanks, Kev. Absolutely. It's race day. The fog is getting burned off here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We're in good shape. We're going to have ourselves a heck of a time here today. And race day, this is what we do this all for. The energy is going to be at full lift, and I'm just so excited for it.
And the amazing thing is the races that are here this weekend, they're not necessarily pro car drivers. They're just gentlemen and ladies who own these vehicles. They're going to get the same buzz that you get when you go out there on track.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, the stories they're going to tell tonight at dinner and at the hotel and around the bar are so similar to the stories that we tell after race day. It's going to be about how, oh, I was catching you at the end of that one, or I missed the braking zone there or else I'd have got you, or man, we were wearing out the tires. It's going to be all those same conversations, and that's what makes an event like this so magical.
So I think what we're going to do, without further ado, Johnny Green, the effervescent Englishman, is waiting to start commentating on the first one of the weekend. It's 1955 to 1961 sports cars over under 2,000 cc's. So without further ado, let's head up to the commentary. Johnny, what you got for us?
So Laguna Seca, you've heard about it, we've talked about it, you've seen it. We're going to see it from lots of different angles. So why don't we take a closer look at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca circuit. Tell us about it, Adam. It's an interesting place to be.
It's a track that everyone loves. As you drive down the front straightaway here, you're going to come through turn one, usually easy flat in anything you're in, into the Andretti hairpin, hard braking, turn number 2. Turn 3 is a 90-degree right-hander leading into another 90 between 4 and 5. Important corners here, leading 6 up the Ray Hall straightaway all the way up the hill to the world-famous corkscrew, dropping down 59 feet into Wayne Rainey, the left-hander, down the hill to the right-hander, turn 10. Hard braking zone into 11, great passing opportunity, bringing it into the finish line to cover our 2.23 miles here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
Here we go. It's the 2021 reunion, and we are reunited for the first race of the weekend. 1955 to 1961, the roar past our commentary position as they dive into action over the crest and down towards Andretti hairpin.
Of Cameron Healy.
Yep.
Leading up in front there, nimble little car. It's this is what I mean. Honestly, a track like this, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, built for a car like that. He'll probably get eaten up pretty good by the bigger car behind. But
Yep, that Spencer Trenery just there in the number 60, the white and blue. Then Gregory Meyer, Joey Bourgelard right behind him. Oh, Trenery going very wide as we complete our first lap of the 2021 Rolex Monterey Reunion. Well, we'll have all the angles covered here at Laguna. You can look at the miles per hour, just over 107 miles an hour for the leaders as they battle toe-to-toe at the moment, and the top 5 pulling away with the number 84 of the Sadler Mark IV of Gregory Meyer at the wheel, just behind. He's bringing this lead group. There he is in the blue stripe number 84. There he is. And then there's a little gap to this little battle going on here as we look at the Lister Corvette, the blue and white of David Swig. A long time comer to the Monterey Historics and many other historic events, David.
This is our lead group starting to navigate themselves around some of the slower traffic, which I'm sure can be awfully tricky here, but doing a great job of it. As we get into the live traffic, this is when, sure, we saw a lot of respect when racing for position, but sometimes, you know, with the live traffic, you'll tend to get a little less patient, want to make your room around, want to make your way around, but we're seeing some very, very good driving already early this morning, which is very encouraging for the rest of the day. As
the checkered flag is out, and we have finished our first race of the day. You got to be quick on the checkered flags here. You never know. So, confirmation of the result. Cameron Healy with an excellent Cooper 53, and Spencer Terreni and Gregory Meyer in the Sadler Mark IV in third. For the first time of our second race of the day, the Rolex Reunion in action here for 2021. Good clean start into the Andretti hairpin.
Nice dive bomb, looking to the inside there, turn number 5.
So give me a bit of tactics. Laguna Seca, where do you make your overtakes? Top of the hill?
Sure, top of the hill. I'm guessing that they discourage passes going into the corkscrew. I would say our passing zones are certainly the Andretti hairpin, certainly turn 11. Those would be your 2 key passing zones for sure.
Leading the way and pulling away as they start their second lap, and just over 100 miles an hour. And as you say, ooh, a big moment then for the 25, the Tatum GMC Special.
Was that brake lock up or was that smoke? And it's almost inside the cockpit. You see him working the wheel. It's like watching the old footage of Sir Sterling Moss.
Yes.
You know, working that big wooden wheel, or Fangio, working that big wooden wheel, the Mercedes coming through there.
And by the way, if you're interested, go back and look up Fangio or Sterling and look up sort of onboards, because believe it or not, they did strap cameras in the 50s to those cars, and you really do see those big wheels and how they had to muscle them and how much adjustment they did each and every corner.
Exciting pass for the lead in turn 1. Exciting pass for the lead there. We had the 25 Tatum GMC Special. Again, Robert, I don't think that it was Robert Manson. Oh yeah, no, it's Robert Manson behind the wheel of that. So that's again, awesome pass there for the lead, and used traffic as a pick.
Nice.
You notice that?
I like it. Yep. As we see that Curtis in full
They're
action.
being given the 1 to go. This is our final lap.
Oh.
Wow.
I'll tell you, these two have had a great little ding-dong battle.
They absolutely have.
And across the line, 92 miles an hour. And a look at the results. Blake Tatum with the win. John Butterbaum in second place in the Jaguar. Bob Manson in the Curtis 500. We saw Skip Streets in the Manning Street Special. 1973 to 1981. Beat that for a sound.
Right, immediately to the front of 935, a gaggle of 935s to the front, not a shock. The JLP car was just motoring past the tail end of the field. Like I said, that car did not get a chance to qualify yesterday. That's why it was starting towards the tail of the field.
As he leads the way in that Sachs number 70. Lovely shots here from our cameraman, great stuff. Now, I did say there's no prizes, but each Saturday and Sunday afternoon, Rolex do award a winner voted by the committee. So as the top sponsor, they do make it awards, and there's 2 morning races each day with an honor for Bonham's Cup winner chosen, and there's also special awards for paddock display, best Ford-powered car, outstanding craftsmanship, etc. And the highest honor is the Rolex Spirit of Monterey Award, a Rolex watch and original Bill Patterson painting, presented to the entrant who best embodies the spirit of the event. That's not a bad prize. Bill, if you've seen Bill Patterson's pictures, paintings, you'd love them. And who wouldn't have a Rolex watch on his wrist? I don't know if you'd agree. I talked to Tommy Dreese. He had a Vic Elford Camaro out here in May when we were doing Trans Am. He, of course, races in TA, as you have done in the past. But he was sort of comparing Vic's car and driving it around. He drove it in the historic Trans Am and then drove his own Camaro in the actual race. And I said, well, what's the difference? What's the major difference? And he said, you'd be surprised. Not that much. What about you? Would you agree with that?
I've never driven the old cars, but I would imagine no. I mean, the Trans Am car, the way the rules are written and have always been written, is to make it a beast. It's supposed to be a beast that's hard to drive, hard to handle, that comes down to driver and crew and who can put the best car underneath and make the car last and let it go. As we're exercising the final lap, this race slid right through us as Group 3A just really flies around this WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
Zach Brown making it up to 14th place, but here's your winner, about to take the checkered flag, car number 70. A brilliant run, led from the start, the 935 K3 from 1980 with Charles Nürburg at the wheel. Car number 70, Charles Nürburg in that Porsche 935, winning ahead of Carlos de Quesada in the 1979 Porsche Epsom Pappas Webster.
So I find myself down here in the paddock, currently in Porsche heaven. Phil, I have to say, this is the best collection of Porsches we've seen today. You guys do a great job.
Thank you very much. They're all special, and we have a lot of fun doing them, and we make a little money at the same time.
Tell us what's going on with car 55 in front of us here, and just what have you done to this? Because I have to say, it is immaculate.
This car was a special order car, or a special wishes car, if you will, from Porsche in 1962. A wealthy French sportsman ordered the car, and he was going to rally the car. He ordered the car with aluminum panels, which it still has today. Bumpers, centers of the wheels are aluminum. It has a Super 90 motor, which was the largest displacement, most horsepower pushrod motor.
The amazing thing is the guy that owns this one also owns the one that stood behind us. Yes, the white one, the 88 car with the orange stripe down the roof. Tell us about this, a different proposition.
This is a 2-liter 911. It's a 1967 911S, but it's a 2-liter car and a vintage racer.
The 1963 to 66 GT over 2500 cc. Here we go.
He has got a serious challenge from the outside, but that challenge is thwarted. Once they got to the braking zone, that little AC Cobra can get deep onto the brakes, as you saw. Yeah. James moving over to the side. I wonder if James has a mechanical issue.
He slowed right down.
Yeah, he slowed right down.
Good battle going on here at the front. The two leaders pulling away from the third place Corvette.
They are certainly racing like this is the glory day. So the number 96 AC Cobra, 1964 AC Cobra. That actually is James Farley. Excuse me, I must have been mistaken. Oh, wow, what a cut of the wheel there on the 186 289 Cobra coming down the hill. What a
shifted.
Man, Philip Kaduri not messing around here today, showing every bit of what that 289 could do. Lock up on the right front.
And very close to the front of that Corvette. I think he took him by surprise a bit there, but he is pedaling.
He's acting like this is coming to the final lap.
Yep, and he is. Out of the last corner they come then.
1 lap to go. They're getting the signal from the flag man here.
Final lap then, and there is your second place man. Coming up the hill for the final time.
It's led on there by Philip Kaduri, and then number in second place, Robert Kelly. That's how much leverage he had on the wheel. That's how much grip that car was getting coming down the hill to corkscrew, because he sees the leader in sight going into turn 11, and he wants a little piece of that.
Well, it's something that's been said many a time over 50 years. A Shelby wins at Laguna Seca. This time it's the 1964 silver 186 car of Philip Kaduri. So confirmation that Philip Kaduri wins in the 1964 Shelby Cobra, and Robert Kelly is second. James Farley, who we were talking about, is in third in the 96. Rob Walton in another Cobra. Away we go. It's a small field, but we don't care.
Small but mighty.
Yeah, mighty indeed. And a beautiful sand, too, as the 88 Eagle dives into the lead.
This is really quite special. And the number 12 car there, you have, that's another AR Eagle. That's Carlos de Quesada.
Yep, he's been out already today, yeah.
He's been out a lot, yeah. I believe he just finished like P2 or P3 2 groups ago.
Into the corkscrew, and already building on that lead.
Very well. I mean, as well as that car's being driven, it would not surprise me that Mr. Rahal is behind the wheel of that.
They've slowed him right down.
It's a double yellow. Yeah, we have a double yellow out.
There you go, the Eagle. on the front. God, it's immaculate, isn't it? And they storm into action past our commentary position, and again. Whoa. Lovely.
Yeah, those are Eagles at it. One of them's a 1973 Eagle, one of them's a 1968 Eagle.
I'm glad the Eagles haven't landed just yet.
What a striking look, and like we talked about it, you can tell aerodynamics was not fully developed yet because they still left the engine covers off. They weren't that sophisticated to know that that a lot of air disturbance comes from that area. So, just great, like you said, to see that evolution, the revolution. And then you got this Penske coming right behind.
Yeah,
it's a 1978.
You were mentioning the STP. Obviously everybody keeps the liveries as best they can, but
we got a blown engine. That would be Tom.
It's Tom.
That would be Tom up at the top of the hill. He got offline good.
And a little moment there, but a little bit of entertainment as the checkered flag waves for Richard Hamlin. And I'm going to bring Gunnar in because he's been out there today and he can tell us about the conditions out there and what it takes to wheel one of these amazing machines around Laguna Seca. Away we go then in our Group 8A.
The car is number one. It is not the driver, and so you just generally try not to put yourself in a position where anybody else can collect you or you can get damage on the car, because that is really first and foremost the most important thing.
Look on the inside of Bruce getting into the Andretti hairpin. That's the dicey stuff we haven't seen all weekend long.
Oh, no! That's not what meant to happen. We just said Dorsey might be coming into action play, but that was a little too rough.
So they may have gotten away with not having suspension damage, but we'll have to watch the next couple of corners and see how it plays out here.
Yeah, and look, you can see when we look high above it, you can see the speed differential between he and the other cars as he dives up the inside again on the final lap. He's muscled his way around this track, sometimes a little too hard, but we'll forgive him for that, well, at least we hope to. And it's the 1991 Eagle Mark III who takes the checkered flag. Charles Nurburg then winner in the Eagle, the Toyota Eagle, and Cal Mika. Bruce Canup in the top three. Joe Robillard is fourth, and Bill Auckland in fifth place. Guys, you can't say this is not different, and you can't say this is not special. Even Adam Andretti is getting his camera out to take a picture of something.
We are gridded up to the front here and ready to get the green flag, Jonathan.
And I'll tell you what, these guys will race, no question.
Yes, they will.
Here we go then.
Yes, they will.
Let's just listen. Quit grinning.
The goosebumps. The goosebumps.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Absolutely glorious.
I mean, folks, it's probably a good 78 degrees here in the booth, but I'm chill. I got chills right now. We've got ourselves a for sure leader here.
Oh yeah, well he got over the crest real quick and straight into the Andretti hairpin. And it's the 45 in the mid-pack there, the 1969 Mustang Boss 302.
Well, that's one of our Javelins that's going to be up front there. I just haven't distinguished which one it is, whether it would be the 68 or the 72.
There's the Tempest.
Yep.
Can't miss the Grey Tempest.
You can't miss the Tempest. The
God,
Grey
this
goes.
is huge. This field is amazing.
The competitors want to come drive those cars, and it's nothing's changed.
Oh, somebody hit the dirt there for a second.
I think it was the leader. It looks like it lost position, and it looked like, for me, they were getting ready to go a little wide. Jim was there, Jim Haig, in that AMC Javelin. It looked like he missed the turn in and caused him to be a little wide at the bottom of the hill. And
yes, he did lose a place, that's for sure. He's still in there, in the number 2. There he is.
I believe he lost it to Jim Farley. Would have been taking the lead then in that Mustang.
That would be quite a footnote if Jim Farley could win for Ford here in 2021. Here's another look at it.
There's a look of coming down the downhill.
Yeah. Ooh, that he's lucky to just have gone that far off, because that could have, you're going down, hurtling downhill at quite a pace, Rhett. This is really
race.
coming down to the wire,
coming down to it.
And no, that's the 61.
That is James Housley.
He's a long way into the gravel, too.
And the checker flag is out for this session. Checker flag is out. They'll get to accelerate to the checkered, so that's
And Ford's James Farley wins at Laguna Seca in a Ford, ahead of a host of Javelins, Camaros, and what a moment. And Jim Farley takes the win in the 1970 Ford Mustang. Chad Reynolds in second place. Ken Adams third. Joshua Fieber in fourth position. Jeffrey O'Neill in fifth.
All right, we're going to continue the coverage here at Monterey right after this short commercial break. When we go back, we'll be going racing.
Welcome back to Laguna Seca, the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Fantastic sound.
Yeah, we don't dare say a word when they kick off right there.
I gotta hear them.
We have to not only do we want to hear, we gotta let that audience at home really capture that sound. What an amazing sound.
Superb. And away they go. Good start then, a good clean start. We've got a good field. Not a big field, but it doesn't matter. There's certainly plenty to talk about and plenty of cars out there.
It's not a large field, but it is quality. I mean, we have, the Niki Lauda World Championship 312 T2 there from 1976 that we've spoken to Chris McAllister about already. Well-documented car there. Alex McAllister's son is in the 67 Lotus 49. That was debuted by Jimmy Clark and Zandvoort in 1967, and it won in its first appearance.
And leading the way, Charles Nurberg, as he's done. He's already won a race earlier today in a Porsche, and he's now taking that F07C Williams from 1981 to the lead. Beautiful sound. They're up to speed now. You can hear that hum.
Working their way through those gearboxes, mostly 5-speed gearboxes in these cars, and such a crisp way to get them through. And there's a 51, that LEC CRP1 again coming through of Ron Maiden.
I think I went to my first Formula One race in 1973 at Brands Hatch. Loved it.
That's cool. That's be a fly on the wall there at that time would have been really...
Well, Brands Hatch was a fantastic circuit, because it still is, of course, but to see Formula One, I think more so than Silverstone, you see more,
Right.
You stand at the top of Paddock Hill Bend and you see them go up, turn into Druids, and then you can see them coming out of the forest and then round the front straight again. So you get a lot more viewing than you would a lot of other tracks.
A really good classic spectator course then.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of those. That's,
not dissimilar to Dakota in that respect. You get a lot to see.
Right. That Jägermeister car that just came through that 74 March 741. Martin Lauber behind the wheel. What a breathtaking car that is.
And the Arrows, the A4 getting side by side with the Lotus.
That was a good
passing
run.
it.
Well, we saw that coming for a while. They've been closing in. Might have just a little bit better tire wear. It could be one of those things. It might be just some fall off.
And here we go. And a beautiful overtake. Nicely done by the number 61. And that's the way you overtake.
And the checker flag is out.
Yep. And as they cross the line, that's our first look at the Formula One cars. And there's your winner. A check on the results then. Charles Nurberg in that 81 Williams wins from Gregory Thornton in the 82 Lotus. Cal Mika in third place. Wade Carter, Bud Moeller in fifth. Group 4A, 1947 to 1955, sports, racing, and GT cars. A full grid roaring away into action here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
Run from 4 to 5, get a decent run down into 5, and maybe a little late break action, but I believe there's a little protection going on there. Maybe it'll look for the lead itself.
Yeah, when you've got the red gloves on like that, you really see the input, don't you?
This is serious racing time. Like we were informed, Gunnar Jeanette let us know that this morning was qualifying races, and these are the races. This is when it's on the line. As far as if there's nothing on the line.
No prize money.
No prize
but
money.
A lot of bragging rights in the restaurant.
This is when you want to. Yeah, exactly. Well, this is who they decide is going to buy the drinks in the night.
He's going to go the long way.
He's going to decide not to do that and go back to a single file.
Out of it, yeah. Great stuff.
He was thinking, I don't want to have dinner with Dorsey.
Dorsey Schrader, of course, the competition director here this weekend.
The sheriff in town.
Yeah. As he said, outlaw turned sheriff, because he was once a very handy competitor and champion in Trans Am.
I think if you put a calculator at everything we have here on property, it's got to be right cresting that $1 billion mark, which is just crazy to think about. I mean, we had a car at auction. What did that go for? 18 million.
Yeah.
Last night is when they hammered
McLaren, yeah.
on that McLaren that Gunnar was telling us about. So just
nuts.
You know, there's so much you can engulf yourself with this weekend here.
Oh, big moment there. Just missing out the 15, getting past the 9. Those two have been battling on. Finally, the 15 getting ahead of him at the closing stages there, and he's made it stick and pulled away quite dramatically as he goes up the hill for the final time in that Manning.
It's definitely it's a lot of work to wrestle those things around. Checker flag is out. That's the end of the race here. Group 4A.
Yep, good race. And some nice action, too, to observe, and some beautiful cars once again. So, confirmation of the results. Skip Streets in the Manning Street Special. Ironically, 1952, Rob Manson second, and John Budabaum in the Jaguar Parkinson Special in third. Well, let's hear more off the line then. Here we go. Group 3A.
John Paul Jr. was like a big brother to me. I've heard the stories from John himself driving that car and coming from a 4-lift Ford to a 935. And he said, you know, I'm approaching the corner at 60, 70 more miles an hour, but the braking zone was the same. And he said that I remember the first time he went on the brakes in the 935, he screamed because of the pain from the seatbelts, because he wore the seatbelts a little looser like he did in the Formula Ford, and he threw them into the belts and it hurt him. And so it's just a masterful car, and to see it out here running under the umbrella of HSR is just brilliant.
Charles Nurberg looking for his third win here. Carry on, David.
The dominance that the 935 had. It was back to John Paul Jr., you know, and he always said that's by far the best Porsche he ever drove, and he drove a lot of them. And he said that 935, there was nothing like it. It's the first time at Sebring, turn 1 was 200 miles an hour, and he held it flat. And that says a lot about the man, and it says a lot about that car.
Yeah. So Group 3A about to complete as we look for the first time at the Brumos Porsche just for a moment there.
I love the Brumos colors. We speak about that a lot, and Peter Gregg and how he made those colors famous, and that legacy carries on for many, many years after, you know, after his, you know, his falling from, you know, his.
Well, you're racing Simon currently, right?
Yeah, I do race Simon in the Trans Am. So Simon and I are great friends, and Simon also started the Peter Gregg Foundation this year and asked me to be on the board for that, and I'm proud to be on the board. They have their first group of 5 students right now that are spending 90 days in Florida at their shop, and we're building a 944 Turbo that Simon is actually going to go race.
Charles Nurberg then comes out of the final corner and will take the checkered flag here at Laguna Seca, crossing the line at some 111 miles an hour for his third win of the day. It's the number 70 of Charles Nurberg in that 1980 Porsche 935 K3, who wins over Timothy Pappas in second, Carl de Quesada in third place, Ken Epsman in fourth. Group 1A roars into action here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca.
And if you're wondering, if you've been watching over the last couple of days and you're like, oh, I love the cars in the B group, and you're wondering where the B group's been today,
that's tomorrow.
Tune in for us tomorrow. That's when you're going to find our B groups.
Well, Trenere back in the red helmet, back in the number 60, takes the lead again. Third place is the 84. That's the Sadler Mark IV of Randy Hill at the wheel. And Big T, Big Tom. Ooh, oh no!
Oh, we got one off.
Into the dust goes the 34. Great racing here, and yeah, I was looking forward to this because we've had 2 days of practice, which is fun, and it gives us a chance to take a closer look at the cars, but what we really want to see is see them race, because this is where it becomes fun.
For sure, without a doubt. It is at its most fun, and this is what they've all worked for.
Back with the number 60, the Cooper Monaco, leading the way.
We know there's nothing on the line. It's really comes down to pride and stories being told. But you know, those stories are told for years and years and years to come, and that's what it's all about.
Certainly is. Beautiful day here in the Monterey Hills as the reunion is back and back with a vengeance.
Al
Great to see.
Arciero running in P16. That was a feature that we had today. Getting to talk to him, and you know, really rich hair, really very rich racing heritage within the Arciero family. But I think Frank Arciero was maybe the partner with Cal Wells with the IndyCar team that ran Hiro Matsushita back in the early 90s. There was Arciero Wells IndyCar team. So I would have to go down there and talk to the group there. But if I'm correct, and those are the same family, I believe it was Frank Arciero that was that partner.
Well, near perfect conditions here. Oh no! And a little accident at the top of the corkscrew as somebody's become uncorked. Who says they're not racing?
Right, that was being impatient working through traffic, right? Didn't want to lose an inch going through traffic. But you know, it's really important to understand your gaps.
A little bit of bodywork. The checkered flag out though. Spencer Trenery wins in rather dramatic fashion in the Coupe Monaco. Got a bit of damage, but gets through. Gregory Meyer in second place with the 1959 Sadler Mark IV. Cameron Healy in third. Here we go. 8A blasts into action here at the Rolex Reunion.
And blast do they. Down in the Andretti hairpin.
Side by side, how about this?
Bruce Canepo.
Oh, Bruce, and does he make it? Oh no! Well, they put him off. I don't think they touched.
He
but
sucks him
into
around.
the kitty, both of them have gone off.
The Toyota was the fastest. Remember the Toyota, the Mark III Toyota, AAR Toyota was the one that actually won the qualifying race. Should have started on pole, but because of that contact, I think with Bruce, I believe they might have put him to the tail. That might have been his penalty, was to start towards the back here. So taking a look here again, Bruce is going to get late on the brakes, gets a really good run out there. Look how tight they are. See what I'm talking about? When you pull in the air off of the car, literally pulling the air off the car.
And the door came open
Flew
too.
the door right open on that. If Bruce is the king of starts, I'm guessing he's pretty good at restarts as well.
Yeah, I'll bet.
But really, I mean, the 10 car there of Joe Robillard, he wasn't leaving anything to question. But look at how when it spooled up, Bruce just really took off.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Rouse, but what a name synonymous with American racing, huh?
And a man who's still out there kicking, right?
Yeah,
He's still, you know, going strong. I don't know how many plane crashes he's survived, but he's an avid pilot and went through a little stretch of bad luck there where he was going down on his airplanes. And but the man is like just almost unflappable. And as we see one of those examples, rolling up the hill, that's a Mazda.
That Hans sponsorship, would that be the early Hans device? Because it looks like the same logo.
Oh, you know, it was, you know.
Tough question.
It is. I didn't get a look at the logo, so it is a tough one.
When you see it, you'll recognize it. Whoa! And another spinner. Let's have a look at the spin.
Little wide on entry,
Yeah.
that's what caught him out. A little wide on entry, got behind on the steering by the end there. A lot of load up on the suspension. But really been checking out ever since, just cutting the lap times and making it look really rather easy from that point of view. And you know, I'm sure from inside the car with Bruce, it's a bit of a sweat fest. I'm sure he's working hard inside there, but having fun nonetheless, grinning ear to ear. A result is a result, and as we like to say, Bruce does a really good job of positioning himself in cars that are going to be competitive.
And as if Porsche didn't need another win, they'll take one. So, confirmation of the Group A results. Bruce Canepa takes another victory, and so did Porsche. Joe Robillard in second place takes a 1-2 for Porsche, the 962. And then Taz Harvey. A great ensemble of historic beauties. Flag waves and away we go here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Farley leads the way once more. He's already run one race, but he hasn't had enough yet. But he's got his work cut out now.
We call that opposite lock, butterflies open.
Yes, butterflies open. Butterflies absolutely open, and butterflies on the stomach as well.
Yes, sir.
AC Cobra in third place, the 96. And the 186 of the Shelby Cobra 289 leading the way, Philip Kadori.
The 96, that is Jim Farley. That is we've mentioned him quite often. He has been a star of the show for many reasons.
Yeah.
Star of the show because he's behind the wheel getting the job done.
Corvette for the lead.
Gets
and
it
takes
done.
it. Nicely done. Now, whoa! He is pedaling. I love it. This is absolutely insane and just what we want from historic racing. Although I'm sure Dorsey's turning at the moment. He's stirring his coffee. Now, it's starting to get a puff of smoke going on in that Corvette at the moment. I'm a bit worried about that. Or is that just the mixture? What are you thinking as we see
Well,
it?
you know, the fact that the lead has gone away,
He's starting to slide a bit too. Let's hope the 32 can hold it all together in that Corvette. The red, white, and striped.
Well, Robert Kelly's been holding it pretty well.
Charlie.
He's filling that mirror of the Corvette there. He's filling that one up of the Corvette of Robert Kelly.
Ooh, somebody's hit the dirt.
Looks like we got one off.
Oh, please, please, please.
Oh, it's clean. Oh, and it's clean.
It's very clean. Nicely done. 186, that's Philip Kadori, who led early on, but just spun it round. Who says they're not pushing?
Because he's going to come around the corner and he's going to get this checkered flag waved at him right here.
Yeah, Robert Kelly's put on a great show in that beautiful Corvette from 1966, a 55-year-old car. So then, the Group 2A looks like this. Robert Kelly having an absolute ball in his Chevrolet 1966 5.4. Lorne Liebel, in the end, takes second place in the Shelby Cobra. Formula One from 1966 to 1985 here at Laguna Seca. Let's hear them roar.
Charles Neerberg wasting no time to get
Zero
a jump
time
on the field.
Williams, Lotus, Tyrrell, Arrows. What a wonderful, yeah, I'd love to be.
That's a parody.
Great. Isn't that fantastic?
That is a parody. This is like, again, we say it so often, don't we? It's click your heels.
Yeah.
And you've gone back in
back
time.
there.
Yeah.
Superb.
Gone back 40-something years. That car really seems to come alive and really come to his own for Wade. Listen to them crack through the gearbox as they come down the corkscrew.
Off. Oh. Ouch.
Oh, got a tank slapper up there at the top. Gonna spin just into the gravel. No harm.
Oh, no.
No foul. Just gonna roll it back.
Yeah, not as anxious as I thought, actually. Yeah, he thought he could save it. He might have saved that. No, up went the visor. And, yeah, welcome to the corkscrew.
Looking at the results here, Charles Neerberg in the 1981 Williams FWOC. Here we are, and there's our rundown as P1 was taken on by Charles Neerberg.
Trans Am in its element, where it became so popular. Laguna Seca, Monterey, California.
What a great start. What a great side-by-side start all the way through the field as the rest of the field is coming through turn 11 in this large field, side-by-side, down into the Andretti hairpin.
Boss 302, James Farley at the wheel, as he should be, the CEO.
Absolutely.
Of Ford.
Yeah, he's in that Peter Gregg, Mustang, and that was a car that Peter Gregg drove to great success. And Peter Gregg, a legend in sports car racing, but more so with Porsche, right? I mean, people never would associate, or rarely would associate, unless you really know the sport, Peter Gregg with Trans Am in the heyday here, and with a factory Ford.
Well, either way, they're going to come out side by side. Yep, they do.
There is not a seat that has a butt in it right now on the front straightaway. They are all on their feet watching the three-wide battle down the front straightaway for the top 4 positions.
This is fantastic. Look at this. This is how modern-day Trans Am. This is like Nashville last weekend. Oh, back he comes on the inside.
Just making it a race. I mean, we can't call this one. You're never. I mean, if you're in Vegas, you can't bet on who's going to win this race right now. There's no way.
Come up to the top of the corkscrew for the final time. There's nothing in it. Absolutely nothing. Back goes to 45. battle of the day here at the reunion, and what a way to finish it.
Tail happy as they come to the checkered flag. Fantastic finish.
So Ken Adams in the 45 does take the 69 Ford Mustang Boss 302 to victory over the 15X of Patrick Byrne. The 42 of Ken Epsom took third. As we get away for our Group 1B 1955 to 1964 GT cars.
Well, as a green flag waves, going to accelerate up the hill here again. Get a good run down there into the Andretti hairpin. So important for that number 31 Piranha sports racer.
And he got a great jump start too, didn't he? Well done to him. And away they go down to the Andretti hairpin for the first time.
I think that's Frank Zucchi.
Frank Zucchi, it is.
The Piranha.
That's
Piranha, which is obviously a very unique car with a very unique name. The vintage racing gives a regular person the opportunity to live out a fantasy of being a race car driver. I have harbored that fantasy all my life. I still do. I still want to do this. The action here, by the way, is really, really good. This is the top of the corkscrew. This is going through. It's distracting me because this is really good racing right now.
It really is. No, it is, and that's the thing too. These are some of the most fun cars to toss down the corkscrew.
Correct.
They're such a nimble little car. It's such a wonderful little package here for these GT cars in this era. You know, this is really before they started putting real big engines in them. So these are lighter, more nimble cars.
Well, and these were cars, even this group, these were cars that were commonly still driven to the race course. Not so much in my era, but, you know, it takes a lot of skill to drive these cars fast. Nothing, don't mean to be taking anything away from modern racing, but let me tell you something. Driving, and look at this. Oh, whoa, he's got a big moment right here.
Big tank slapper.
Ooh, but that, this is not over yet. He's got to get out of there.
Now, James Alder is one of my favorites here because he epitomizes, to me, what historic racing is all about. He drives his XK120 across from Reno down to the historics here at Laguna and other events. James, how long have you been doing that?
My first race was March of 1982, so I think that would make this season 39, possibly season 40.
And you've made it. And the car's made it.
Yeah, well, not without, some drama over the years.
I bet there's a book there.
No, it's. I mean, again, Jonathan, when we had spoken before, when I first started driving the car and had the opportunity to race it, it never occurred to me to trailer it because I didn't have a trailer and I didn't have the money and I didn't have a tow vehicle. But part of the adventure was driving it there. And I thought, well, this is a car, they say that you can do that with a 250 Ferrari. You can drive it to the racetrack, race competitively, and drive home. Well, they're in a little bit different price range from an XK120.
Right.
But you can do that with an XK120. Now, another great thing about the training that you do, I've had a lot of desire all my life, to go fast.
Yeah.
I want to drive fast. But when young people or old people have an opportunity to get on the racetrack and drive under safe conditions, it helps them relieve that desire a little bit on the road.
I agree. No, the slowest I drive is after a race. The slowest, and it's funny, if I don't have a ride or if I'm struggling to get stuff together to go racing, my wife will finally say from the passenger seat, we need to get you a ride. You haven't been on the racetrack in a while. You're getting it out here on the road, and that's not where any of us want to do it. But yeah, it certainly is. I couldn't agree with you more there, James. It removes, because you've got it out of your system.
That's right.
Completely
release. That's right. And I try to explain that to people. Now, this is, by the way, this is Ranson Webster. That's, I think, one of 6 Abarth Carreras, yeah. 356.
1961, that car.
My understanding is that Ferry Porsche and Carlos Abarth were at a bar together and got in a fight, actually, not amongst each other, but amongst some other patrons, ended up in jail together. And that's when Abarth said, I can build a special 356 Porsche for you that will be more competitive than what you're building. I understand that's how they got together, and that's why that car exists.
I like a good story like that. We also saw the Morgan Plus 4, the blue,
He believes
just
like
behind.
1 out of 6 too. I mean, why is that not in a museum somewhere? Because it should be out here racing.
Well, actually, he has 2 of the 6.
Oh, man.
And Ranson does have one of the largest Porsche automobile collections in the world in Reno, Nevada. That's why I happen to know so much about that.
That makes total sense.
By the way, this Plus 4 that is chasing Ranson there, that is a really, really great Plus 4. Very, very durable. I've spoken to that guy a couple of times. He bought that car about 5 years ago. It's been a great car for him.
That's Greg Powell. Yeah, Greg Powell behind the wheel there.
Yes, yes.
How about that for a drone shot? Lovely. And by the way, when you see the back of this car, check out the powerboat.
Yeah, it's got a little
It's got a
propeller
little
there.
propeller on the back.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was original, but I guess it must have been.
Well, I don't know. It does have somewhat of a boat tail rear end.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, it's got the
looks like a
motorboat thing.
Yeah, it does. It
Propeller.
looks like you could just drive it right into the lake there and go for a little drive.
Well, it's called a Piranha, so.
Yeah, there it is, right? So the final lap, we're working the final lap here of our first race this afternoon. Group 1B, these are GT cars from 1955 to 1964. You're watching
Now,
our
you look at the
leader
back of
here.
this, James. Check it out.
Oh, yes.
Our
Yes,
leader.
I see that. Oh, look at
Hey! Get the wind in it?
No, I'm surprised
It's getting
that
him up
got
the
through
hill.
tech. That could be giving a little propulsion there.
It could be, couldn't it?
I would call it drag.
And just behind him, the number 3. That's the Santi we were talking about earlier. This the final lap, and, well, a little bit cloudy in the distance, but it's a beautiful day here on the Monterey Peninsula. Do you get amongst any of the concourses or get down to Pebble Beach, or do you just stay here?
I have in the past, but really my heart is at the track.
Yeah.
To give you an idea of how long ago it was when I did go to the first event here and then went to Pebble Beach, because actually back then, the event was just Friday and Saturday. The track was taken over on Sunday by the Ferrari Club, and most everybody went to Pebble Beach. Well, do you know how much it costs to get into Pebble Beach now?
I bet it's more than $15.
Yeah, it is. Now, when I went in, it was $20.
Right.
Now, I think it's about $500 for a cheap ticket.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, if you want something special, it's going to cost a pile more. I mean, keep your eye on number 7. That's Marnix the Demon Delineus.
Okay.
That's an Alpha GTZ. He's a very good driver. Very experienced.
He's already looking to the inside there to get some, to get a little bit of a jump on the field here.
Now the Porsches are off.
Those very early 911s, you know, they're rear end happy.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of skill to drive one of those fast.
My dad would say it's like throwing a dart backwards.
Yeah.
And all the weight is where you didn't really want it to be at the
Right.
time. And it took him some time to really control that in a racing environment.
A nice big field of cars too. Small ball, but just as exciting as any other group out there.
Cars like this, I mean, built for Laguna Seca here at WeatherTech Raceway. It's just such a nimble car, and, you know, it's until you go to climb the hills, you really don't feel like you're missing any power.
Well, relatively short wheelbase, and they just handle really well. Of course, the Lotus Super 7 is a giant killer right there.
Right.
The yellow, you know, kind of open-fendered little car. Colin Chapman it's all about lightweight.
We were just looking at that 26R Lotus.
Look at that.
There
Look
it
at
is.
that.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's poetry to me.
I agree. Poetry in motion right there.
Oh.
Almost did the Zanardi, the Alex Zanardi move
Yeah, we
there.
were talking about that yesterday. There was a couple of those.
Yeah, we've been discussing the Zanardi line. We caught a lot of Formula One cars.
I call it
in
the Casey
Zanardi
Stoner line.
Yeah.
He did it on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
We've been watching 2 Lotuses. We've been watching that 26R, and now we're watching that Super 7 that is getting dwarfed a little bit by what is still a tiny car.
Well, you guys are doing great coverage, because when I try to explain to other people to come to watch, what you want to find is the race within the race.
Right.
Oftentimes, the guy with the most money and the highest horsepower and the greatest skill and the hottest-looking girlfriend, he wins the race. He just runs off and runs away. But you want to find the race within in the race. And it could be somebody dicing for 20th position. It doesn't matter. Those guys are driving as hard as they can.
We've got a great battle going on here between the 65 Lotus, the 26R, the number 37, just ahead of the 99 from 64. And they're chasing down that Porsche. Great story, James. Look, we've got a really good group of Lotuses here this year.
Really, you do.
Yes.
Yeah, really do.
Really impressive. And quite, eclectic group. We just saw that yellow and white. We're seeing the classic colors here.
Well, and look at the green with the yellow stripe.
Beautiful.
I mean, that's certainly a classic Lotus color.
Yeah, that screams Lotus, does it not?
Yeah, these three are just having a great race. I apologize. I say these three.
Whoa.
I mean, these three that the cameras are on.
Well, we've been saying all weekend long that this right here is what makes the dinner time and bar time stories. You know, when this vintage and historic racing is all about, you know, what we get to talk about afterwards, like all racing. We love to share the war stories and talk about, I was catching you there at the end, and man, if my brakes wouldn't have faded, I had you, and you know, there's so much that goes on, and I see that developing when I see a race like this.
That's right.
I can hear the stories already.
He's got him.
Now look at this. Yeah, this is of course a relatively modern 911.
Yeah.
And the Lotus, is that an Elan or Elite? I get those names mixed up, but man, that's a giant killer.
It really truly is. No, it really truly is. It's that 71. That's a 67 911S. George Calfo, or excuse me, Randall Smalley is behind the wheel of that.
And who's in the Lotus right behind him? Because that guy is doing a great job.
Michael Malone.
Well, that guy is just doing a great job. He's hounding that.
Yeah, yes, he's got him now. I think coming into Rainey. On the inside, he makes his move. No,
not quite.
It looks like he's got to run into 10.
Well, the Porsche is driving very defensively.
Very defensive.
Now on the inside, he's making the block pass. Side by side.
Okay, he's got him.
He's got him.
Oh, that's great.
Well, let's see if he can set sail. You know, this is out now. It's about putting open that gap.
Back comes the Porsche on the inside.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, now is the time for him to exercise course management. I don't call that blocking. I call that course management.
Course management.
I like it. I'm going to use that next time I'm called to the steward's office.
Drag race down into Andretti. The Porsche's got the inside line, but the Lotus says no. The 37, I'm going to keep my foot in. Looks great from the drone.
So what Malone is hoping for right there is that the Porsche
He's got him. He's got him.
He threw that dart backwards. He threw that dart backwards, didn't he, in there?
That's
way
right.
too much momentum.
That's right.
Snap of the release
And we
of the
got
brake
another
pedal.
spin up.
That's right.
That looks like a Datsun, doesn't
And
it?
he let off instead of keeping his foot in it.
Exactly.
This is the 911. It's probably gonna win. That's the leader.
There
That
he
is
is,
correct.
coming out of the last quarter.
Now look at that. Okay, he wins, which is great, but he's all alone. I personally think that he might be happier in 5th position having the dice of his life.
They're all lined up 2 by 2 as they come through turn 10 to 11, getting ready. The pace car's going to peel off nice and late like they have all weekend long in that beautiful Lexus RCF.
You know, this is a great group. If there's any, listeners out there that are interested in vintage racing and have the means to get a pre-war car, this is just one of the funnest group to race with.
It's so neat. I mean, and I love when they do the period helmets, with the open face and the scarf or the bandana. It just really, it makes you, like we've been saying, click your heels 3 times and you're back in the 20s.
No question about it. 1920 to 1951. Enjoy, folks.
Watch these ERAs go through the Andretti hairpin here. I mean, these are very, very good drivers. And that Bugatti, that Type 35 that's in 3rd position,
it's been showing a lot of speed this whole weekend long.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
Yeah, that Type 35 right here, this number 11, is with Nathaniel Green behind the wheels.
And look at that.
Holding a pretty wheel.
And our cameraman giving us a great
steady,
illustration of how the wheel is used and how big those wheels are.
Oh, he just lost to the Lagonda. The Lagonda got around
now
that.
Luca is trying to make the move on that Lagonda. It's that Lagonda's got a lot more power, even though the Bugatti is supercharged. I believe it's only 1.5 liters.
Well, that's a V12 he's got under that beast. What a beast!
Whoa.
Whoa.
All right, Luca's got his chance now. If he can keep it going, keep it together.
Oh, that's great.
The V12 is going to stretch its legs, though. Looks like up the hill here to the start finish
but if
line.
Luca can stay on the inside, he's going to be able to out-handle that. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to quite do that.
I tell you what, you want to know about bravery? This Laguna was just about, cross-corrected over there out of turn 11.
Yeah.
It didn't hesitate. We're back to full throttle. Going to make that pass right back and get down to that Andretti hairpin as quick as we can. I love that spirit.
David and Goliath, without a doubt.
Now, again, look at the two ERAs in the front
leading
here.
the right.
And they've got a good little battle going. I mean, this is a tight little race here. Leader cannot make a mistake because we're going to pounce right here in P2, no problem.
And the leader is the older car, the 1934 ERA R2A. Just splendid.
Just love that. I love the action coming down the corkscrew like that, especially with these little cars and narrow tires. Lots of wheel on the tires, so lots of leverage, but no actual contact patch to hold that leverage. Battle's back on.
Yep,
Gap
certainly
is tight again.
Well, this is as close as he's been, and he's now he's taken to the outside, and the Laguna says, "Take it, sir."
That was a little gentleman point by.
Yeah.
Again,
he probably knew that Luca was going to be able to pass. Luca went through turn 10 just fantastically. Can he stay ahead by start finish?
No, but it could be a lineup for what could be the finish line.
That's correct.
In a couple of laps, so he's got the measure of him.
85 miles an hour they came across the line. That is incredible for this era of car.
It is.
Because they came out of that corner like 30.
Yeah.
So to accelerate 50 miles an hour to this point, that gets me going. That really puts it to perspective.
No, that's a very, very high speed. You need to be going 150 in a modern car to get that same level of exhilaration.
Yeah, right, exactly.
There's another Bugatti, 1925 this time.
That's such a neat car. Like I said, we've been admiring that little Bugatti for the whole weekend as well.
He's fast too. I think he's in third position behind the two ERAs.
And a good battle for the last spot there on the podium, if you will.
So we come to the conclusion of our latest group.
Patton's in the lead?
No, he's second.
So could he? I think he's a little bit too far behind. There's just a little bit too much of a gap.
He definitely pushed it through 11. You could see a good amount of little understeer there. What a race right there to the end. I mean, that was almost door to door.
Oh, lovely. Just to confirm, it was Paddings at the wheel of that 1934 older car, beating the 1936 Charles McCabe at the wheel of those two ERAs.
Right, don't go anywhere, because when we come back after the break, historic racing action continues out on track, and we'll see you just as soon as we can.
Here we go then. This is our manufacturers, the fans waving in front of a commentary booth as they roar into action here at Laguna Seca.
So Gunnar Jeanette from P3 is looking to make some move right there to contain his spot, make sure he stays right where he's at, although he's going to look like get outbroke on the outside. Nice outbraking maneuver. A little tail happy with that little car, that little blue car on the outside of Gunnar.
Well, Gunner's making good work of that as that lead group leads another GT40. That's Chris McAllister, I think.
That is Chris McAllister, yes.
Yeah, we had a closer look at his car. What a collection he's got here this weekend.
Here's one for you. That car was used in the GT40 sales brochure and featured in some magazine road tests. So
there you go.
That's got some great history to it as well.
These guys are not mucking about. I love it.
Yeah, no kidding, right? That is some serious racing here already with Gunnar.
Whoa, little.
That was a nice little
wiggle there from the 9.
Chris McAllister definitely laying the foot down on that GT40.
1969 GT40.
What a fun race coming up through turn 1 here between two very different cars in the same class. Great racing again, as always, that we've had all day long. Can't emphasize enough that this is not just lapping days. These guys are out there pushing it to the limits. I'm seeing triple digits down the front straightaway here. And I mean, you can see diving down to the inside.
That little Lotus 23B.
That cute little guy, isn't it?
Yeah, very. And what I love, I said there's so many Lotuses here, but all of them are so different too.
There is. It is. It's a totally different group of Lotus cars. I mean, it's one of those things where I wonder how much of it translates over. Like if you break down, can you go to the next Lotus guy and get a part?
Yes, good point.
Because it's such a different cars.
Yeah, very different cars. Certainly body shape-wise, yeah.
Right. Mechanically, they might be very similar.
What's under the body's probably similar in terms of parts, but
what a run through turn 6 that was.
Yes.
You want to talk about carrying your momentum up the Rahal straight into the corkscrew.
Bobby here, of course, as you saw earlier. Meanwhile, back at the front, the 2 leaders, the Yellow Perils, the number 7, leading the way in the Alva Mark 7.
I love that's got a Hewlett 4-speed transaxle. I mean, you want to talk about for the era to have that kind of technology in it. I think that's pretty impressive. In 1964, you know, we're hearing transaxles thrown around now. I mean, NASCAR is going to go to transaxles in the next generation car, and you know, transaxles have been around a long time, obviously, but to see it in that era of car, pretty spectacular too.
So the 26 Chevron, the 1973 B26 in the yellow and black.
Coming around to get the 1 to go signal, no doubt, from our flagman.
Gray Gregory at the wheel of that orange and black. And they're getting a good race too, these two. Robert Kaufman still in the hunt.
Way to the inside, Andretti Hairpin, filling up that mirror, making sure, you know, I'm still back here, you know.
Yeah, you're going to use those back markers if you dare. But they're getting out of the way. A little bit of wiggle there. Maybe a chance.
And boy, do they put a gap on Gunner. You know, I believe Gunner is still there. Right there, he comes through turn 10 right there. That's 3rd place car.
Yep.
And Gunner's going to be very happy with that run. I know he was excited to get this in today. And, you know, that's such a beautiful car. What a beautiful blue. I got to go look up close to it, spend a little time with him while we were waiting for our power to get turned back on. And it's such a breathtaking example. And he needs the gurney bubble. You saw how tall he is.
Yes, he is. He's a tall fellow. So it is Jim Buzagalu ahead of Gray Gregory in the number 26. Brian Grossa in 3rd. Gunner's in 4th, in fact.
Yeah, got around Gunner in the 81.
Alex McAllister in 5th position at the moment. Here we go for the win. The Lola and trying everything he can now in the dying stages.
So yeah, the Sauber, Brian got around Gunner. I'm sorry, I apologize. I jumped the gun on the penultimate lap. We're on the penultimate lap now. My fault
final lap now, yeah. But now they're heading traffic, so this race may not just go as smoothly. The Lola, though, doing the business.
Love the rear wing of that Lola up front. It's just such a, it's got that long tail.
Yeah,
of the era.
You can see it well from here.
It's casting a shadow on the racetrack.
It is.
That tail is so long.
But he's done it. He's cracked the whip and pulled ahead. And so it's going to be Jim who takes it here in the 1973 T292.
I mean, he certainly dropped the hammer on that last lap. It looked like a race coming to the white flag, and then, man, the hammer got dropped, and he just took off.
Chevron takes 2nd place.
And the Sauber coming up in 3rd here.
Yep, and there's Gunnar Jeanette in the GT40 just behind the number 6, taking 4th place. Here we go then, the final race of the Monterey Union for 2021. It's been a wonderful 4 days, and we finish it off with a roar of the Masters Endurance Legends.
Certainly our most modern take of cars that we'll see all weekend long. That's a DP, that's a Ronnie and Scott DP, Mark III Daytona prototype at the helm there, leading the way. That's a Mark 11 actually, DP. Spencer Trenery behind the wheel. Great little driver there, Spencer. But considering it's a longer session, we may actually see some driver changes here just to give a little endurance feel to this.
Well, it may be that if you don't have another driver, you still have to take the pit stop and just sit and do the timing, you know. Although very fast, the way these guys can corner with the design of them, I would argue that they're going to be, like we said, we're not taking lap times per se, but I can tell you they're doing 139 across the strip. We just saw that.
So if this is the 90, no, this is the 09. So that is the 09 Coyote Corvette DP. That's William Hubble behind the wheel of that car. Those are fun cars. Those are probably our most modern car out there. You know, with that, in that, as far as prototypes go, that era of prototype, that DP prototype was just before the DPIs. Now we have a version of it. We have a show car DPI down at near the Motul. It's a Honda booth that's down there in the paddock, and it's amazing to see, just even in the short amount of time from 2011 to 10-year period, how much we've come, how much even that's come and progressed, and even the wind tunnel, the little nuances that they found in the wind tunnel since then. Thunderous V8s roaring down in front of us as well. Nothing wrong with that sound.
Now, there is a mandatory 2-minute pit stop between 15 and 25 minutes.
Oh, we love that.
Into the race. That's why some of the cars, not all, some of the cars have got second and third drivers. Some of them will stay in and they're the only driver, but they'll still have to do that pit stop.
Looks like we have a driver getting ready for their driver change.
Yeah, we got about a minute and a half.
That's Oberlin. Yeah, that's Bill Oberlin.
Bill Oberlin getting ready.
Well, most racing car drivers that I know, and you're probably the same, we're not very good passengers.
No.
I can attest to that.
Yeah. It's I have a line, James, that I use. I didn't spend my whole life acquiring the skill to be a passenger.
There you go.
And, we're a little bit control freaks in that way too.
I was about to say that's the truth. I've never seen a racing driver many times in a passenger car, and I've never seen a racing driver on a roller coaster.
I love roller coasters, though.
No, do you? I do. You're the first racing driver I've ever met that likes roller coasters.
I actually love a roller coaster, and my brother John.
But think of Jenkinson. Think of Dennis Jenkinson in the passenger seat of the 300 SLR in the Mimilia with the device that he created, which was sort of a reversing toilet paper thing that he would unroll, and then he'd give hand signals to Sterling Moss as to the degree of sharpness of the next turn. They were averaging more than 100 miles per hour for 1,000 miles.
He was the first rally co-pilot.
Would sit there, and do like this, and he had to get it right. I mean,
it's incredible.
That is incredible.
That's not Google Maps.
That's incredible. And by the way, there's no movie of that. There needs to be a movie of that.
That actually is a great movie.
Bentley Boys. I mean, there's a lot of great stories.
I've always wanted the Nuvolari story to be told.
Oh, yeah.
Fazio Nuvolari's got one of my favorite stories. So this is the Orca in for a possible, their mandatory pit stop. Not necessarily a driver change, but they have to do a mandatory 2.5-minute pit stop.
2 minute.
2 minute.
Ooh, somebody's parked up there. Is that the BMW?
That looks like one of the BMWs up at the top of the hill there, which is, they're double yellow because of it, so we're in a double yellow condition.
We're going to get a bunch of pit stops now, obviously, with that car struck up there. They're mandatory 2-minute pit stops, and here they come.
And Tony is a busy man getting that footage for us.
Go, Tony, you're up.
And
the Audi's in, the Porsche's in.
And this is a busy, busy, busy pit lane. Tony's right there with one of the Orca LMP2 cars. And there it is, the 34.
And that's done the 24 hours of Le Mans. Number 34, the Orica.
They're not going to do a driver's change. They're just going to say hi to Mom with their helmet.
Yep.
Well, I think the pit stop is mandatory, but not necessarily a driver's change.
Correct, yeah. So the lights are off on the safety car, and we're about to go racing for the last 15 minutes of the Rolex Reunion for 2021. In comes the pace car, and we are going racing again. The 81 comes in and out. That's Douglas Barron at the wheel, and away we go. Look at this.
Gotta imagine this is the racy group here. That Audi R8 is gonna want to get around the GT car.
Whoa, that was a little bit of a bonsai move there. Can he get away with it? And look at this on the outside.
Oh, and the drone is the best view of that by far.
Man,
We got every little
through.
angle of every little move there, and there was about 6 going on. There's your leader in the middle, in the number 15. What a restart. Well, the SunTrust car's definitely trusting his instincts. He's trying to get past the Audi. The storied history Audi, number 2.
Have fun out breaking that Audi, though, man. That's a deep braking car.
Yes, yeah. He's going to do it. Here we come, down the main straight.
The Audi's been the fastest car on the straightaway, though, as James pointed out. I haven't seen anyone go faster than 146, but that Audi is what's been... Ooh, big rear lockup by the 15.
No, he's going to have to snooker that. If that's Bruce Trenery in front, I mean, he's going to have to fill his mirrors to the point where Bruce makes a mistake, and Bruce does not make, or is that Spencer? I'm sorry, that's Spencer Trenery. Does not make very many mistakes.
Yeah, Spencer's in the 15
is that Danny
car.
Baker behind him?
You got Travis Engen is in the Audi, the number 2 silver Audi, and then you have
Spencer and Danny Baker.
Spencer's in the 15, and then I believe you have
well, the 40 is the Orica,
yeah,
the
Danny
LMP2.
Baker and the other
Orca.
Orca.
Yeah, he
yeah,
didn't change. He didn't change. He sat in the pits and didn't change driver, so it should be still Keith.
Actually, that'll be Keith Frazier.
Yeah,
Keith Frazier is in that Orca.
Yep. Great racing. Good show they're putting on. And down towards Rady they come. Side by side almost.
And then, the Audi saw him. The Audi saw him, left room.
Yes. And that's part of the respect between these drivers.
Yeah, and the Audi is as wide as he can be at the moment.
Yep.
He likes to use a bit of the asphalt and the runoff green.
I tell you what, the fastest line going through the corkscrew is, you want to stay up on the right after you do that right clipping point,
Yep.
and you swing out to the left. You want to point the car to the right. That's the faster line. But if there's a guy right behind you, here you go.
That was a nice move down into turn 3 there.
Yeah.
Beautiful move into turn 3.
Not the obvious overtake, but
no,
he
that's a brave move. That's a really brave move. So really nicely done. And
now the 40's coming. The Orica's coming too.
Well, you know what? I think that Audi has a little bit of a problem.
Well, he's holding up the Orica
We'll
now.
see.
I knew the Riley was quite a bit quicker. So once Spencer was able to get clear, I knew he was going to take off. He was able to carry so much more corner speed. He was just losing some straightaway.
So now right here, getting into the corkscrew here again.
We had a car dead to the inside there in turn 6.
Somebody was stuck on the inside.
So if they're really, really close, you take the initial turn left, which is right there, then the right turn. But if they're really, really close, you can stay on the inside. You just go straight, and you'll be in the way of the guy taking the clipping point.
Yeah, it's the 145. That's the 997 of David Alvarado. Robertson Calfo in car number 12. Yeah, I think you're right. And that was the car that a moment ago was stuck up the top of the corkscrew.
That's running fine now.
That is. Now the other Orica, the 03 LMP2. Danny Baker coming back into the play.
Oh! That's some lockup there. He was not expecting the Audi to slow. No, I don't think so. I think he expected the Audi. I've noticed that the Audi is not carrying a lot of corner speed, and I think that car, the Orica behind him, wasn't prepared for as much as they were slowing down. Was expecting him to take more corner speed.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Might be tire wear, getting hot, all those things happening. Might even be physicality. It's a physical track. Those are physical race cars to drive. You're pulling 3 to 4 G's in the corner, and Oberlin's going to be next. No, it's been a real pleasure, James, having you around with us,
so much.
And we've really enjoyed thoroughly. That's sincere from deep down inside. We've had and I think I'm sure our fans at home have really enjoyed I look forward to hearing from you when you finally watch this, the coverage that we've had, because we had a lot of fun covering you and your races.
Well, thank you.
You did a fantastic job. You hold a pretty wheel. I say that a lot, but you do. You hold a pretty wheel, and it shows that you got great experience here, and the camaraderie and all the passion that you show. And I wish you nothing but the best, sir, and nothing but safe travels as well.
Adam, thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure to be here and talk with you guys. If I can help you out anytime, I'm happy to.
Appreciate that.
We assume you're coming back next year.
Yes.
Safe assumption.
Well, then if you guys are running the event at what's called the Velocity Invitational,
Okay.
that's the November event.
Are you going to that?
That's the November event here.
Okay.
You know, we'll
You
get
never know.
together.
You never know where you might find Jonathan
Okay.
and I.
Well, here comes the number 15. He's been a great run for the Riley, the 2006 Riley. As the clock ticks down here at the majestic and effervescent Laguna Seca. 1957 it all began here, but in fact racing here in this part of California began in 1950 with the mighty Phil Hill winning in an XK120. And to finish it off, it is an American Riley here in 2021 who will take the checkered flag here for what has been truly a wonderful return to historic racing. The checkered flag is out, and the Riley comes across the line to finish what has been a superb display of 1983 to 2016 Masters. And just to confirm our 6B results, Spencer Trenery in the 2006 Riley wins ahead of Danny Baker and Wade Carter, second and third, and another Riley Scott in third.
Johnny and Adam, I've probably got a thimble full of the knowledge about these cars that you two have, but I now have all of the excitement and all the appreciation of what spending a weekend at a racetrack with these kind of cars is all about. It's been a blast, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, and people say, you always sound so excited when you're working, Johnny. What's the deal? And I can now see it on your face and what you've experienced. This is what we love. This is what we love to do.
Well, listen, folks, we hope we'll be back next year, and we do hope, if we are, that you will be too. But for now, from all of us here at the Monterey Motorsport Reunion at Laguna Seca, thanks ever so much. See ya.
Coming up after the break, we look back on all the action from round 3 of the 2009 Australian Supertruck Nationals from Perth's Barbagallo Raceway.